As you can see, the title of this book is called The New Human. This journey started trillions of years ago. Yet, let's go back around 15 billion years to the time this earth was created. You were there, not in human form. That would be billions of years later. Yet you existed as an infinite spirit. You were the universe in all its glories. You helped create this precious earth called Gaia. You see, you are eternal. You were never created, nor will you ever die. Humans come upon this earth billions of years later. A sacred seed was planted inside of you. Let's fast forward to the present. It seems like our world is in total chaos. Our past has been filled with great traumas and war. What if I told you that 99% of the people are good people, while 1% of the people have been bad apples? Unfortunately, the 1% have ruled man for thousands of years. Look where it's taken us. Yet, at the same time, the seed is still lying inside of you. It's only dormant. According to most indigenous tribes, that if humanity survived past 2012, a new dawning of man would occur. The seed would slowly begin to sprout inside the hearts of mankind. I mean slowly. 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards. This is how humanity grows. This seed contains the universe. This seed contains the absolute love of God. This seed contains pure kindness, love, patience, and tolerance. This is your true nature. Mankind is transforming into a kind man. You may say, all I see are people flaming each other on Facebook. All I see is chaos everywhere. Yet the sun is appearing on the horizon. It's going to be a glorious day. Can you see the golden rays appearing above the ocean of life? A brand new day is coming to man. Granted, this transformation will take time. Remember, this is a journey. What would a journey be without a great adventure? You are part of this journey. This story is all about you. This story is about darkness and light. You see, darkness has no place to hide when the sun starts to shine on this land. Look at the world today. So many dark events are being exposed to the world today. No longer can darkness hide upon this land. This book will contain stories and poems about this new human evolution. Follow me where we are going on this precious journey. You are the main character. This wonderful American Indian story really reflects the battle between light and darkness. The new human learns to feed the light instead of darkness. This is the only way for humanity to transform. This is the essence of the new human. Ponder this over. It seems like humanity would embrace the light. The world would change overnight. An old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. "A fight is going on inside me," he said to the boy. "It's a terrible fight, and it's between 2 wolves. One is evil, He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued, the other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute, but then asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old Cherokee simply replied, the one you feed. Conscious politics is slowly appearing on the scene. What exactly is that? Well, our founding fathers had a vision of a government for the people, by the people. Currently, we have a government which is totally divided, and both parties hate each other. The endless bickering and stalemate goes on. Need I say more? Conscious politics is driven by being aware and acting from a state of emotional maturity. What is that? It's living and breathing in a state of patience, tolerance, compassion towards others. It's actively listening to someone without judgment, that because his ideas are different, therefore he is evil. A conscious person can bend like wheat blowing in the wind. He can smile and laugh at adversity. He has nothing to prove. His ego doesn't get fluffed up like a peacock. Granted, this will take time. Pockets of this is happening around the world. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is a prime example of this. She believes that kindness should be a foundation in politics. She said that kids are raised to be kind, yet in politics they are trained to be mean and demean your opponent. This is my journey on seeing my view of the world in politics. Of course, this is my view. I'm not saying your view is wrong. We need to see through different viewpoints and learn how to compromise in politics. Ultimately, we all want a better world for our children and grandchildren. One area that desperately needs kindness is our current state of politics in America. The fire of anger is a huge forest fire. It is consuming America. We have a president who loves to add gasoline to the fire. You can see the side effects when one rules with anger. The president even says that he can pardon himself. I never knew that a president can be a dictator. Look, I'm not Republican or Democrat. I believe in kindness for all. If you are kind, You can't make laws that will benefit for all. You don't want to build a wall. That has been done before and didn't solve anything. You want to build a bridge of kindness. For example, so many children are separated from their parents when trying to enter the country. Jeff Sessions basically said, "Tough luck. You know the consequences when you try to enter the country. Where's your heart?" It almost reminds me of the Nazis. Didn't we learn that story years ago? Apparently not. Personally, I think there's no more morals or ethics running America. We have a president who doesn't tell the truth. He has a campaign that calls the press fake news. He mocks the FBI and the Department of Justice. He knows what he's doing. He's tearing America apart. I could go on and on. Our allies are totally freaked out. They don't know what to do. He doesn't listen to them. He knows what's right for the world. You see, without kindness, things can go totally astray. We need a president and Congress to lead from kindness. Never before have we seen such an example when one rules like a dictator. In my eyes, unfortunately, our president is leading like a dictator, not a president. A dictator makes all the decisions. He doesn't listen to anyone. A dictator will tweet whatever comes to his mind at 3 a.m. A president will ponder things over. He will consult with his advisors before making any decisions or making statements. He would not call the leader of North Korea Little Rocket Man or my button is bigger than your button. Without kindness, you would never get out of the Paris Accord. Without kindness, you would never get out of the Paris Accord. Saving the planet is the utmost importance. We are sawing off the branch we are sitting on. Anyone with common sense knows this. We need to do more, not less. The United States must be leaders in showing the world that we are serious. Currently, the world looks at us and shakes their head. The same goes for the Iran deal. 5 long years were spent in negotiating a deal with Iran. All the major countries were involved. A deal was created and everyone signed on the dotted line. Our president comes and says he will no longer abide by it. How's that for being trustworthy? The world can no longer believe in our words. Look, ethics and morals are a complete package. You must use them in all affairs of life. When you think you don't need them, your mind and ego will not be in check. In essence, the political system will be in chaos. Our country can't be stable without ethics and morals. It is the building blocks for America and the world. Personally, I think we need to vote for any person in the office who holds these values to heart. If a person has a negative campaign or uses negative advertisements, don't vote for him. If a person gets money from lobbyists, don't vote for him. Vote for the person who truly represents the common person. The time for the super rich and elite must change. We need laws that are kind to the common person. Our whole system needs to be rebooted. Fortunately, people are stepping up to the plate. Many common people see this and are motivated. Kindness must be expressed between both parties in order to survive. Need I say more? A great wall has divided us. They can't stand one another. Do you see where the lack of kindness affects all areas of life? The current system is acting like kindergartens. At least kindergartners are kind to one another. Currently, we are emotionally dysfunctional. If I'm wrong, please show me. Hatred and anger are the norms. Yes, we currently totally embrace them, but they are not our true nature. We need to discover our true nature before we can truly transform political systems. War is not the answer. Anger and hatred is not the answer. Kindness is the answer. Can you imagine if the entire world started to act this way? Can you imagine if the entire world would tap into the ocean of kindness on a day-to-day basis? All change must occur inside. From that state will manifest outside into this world. The entire world needs to learn and utilize this. This will not change your religion. This will make you tolerant of all religions. Yesterday, my wife and I went to a coffee shop. Well, we ordered the coffee. They had a question of the day. How many religions are there around the world? The answer is over 4,000. Wow, that's a lot. Well, how would the world be if they were all tolerant with one another? How could we see the difference and yet at the same time the unity of all? There's a thread of love tying us all together. Imagine if countries and politicians would see this and embrace all. You see bigotry and racism and fear your opponent's religion's belief is a mindset. You are seeing through tainted glasses. You totally think you are justified, yet your thinking is extremely narrow-minded. You think your views are totally correct. If you think that one religion is better than another one, you are thinking in an extremely narrow way. Currently, our administration has this point of view. When calling all peoples of certain religion terrorists, it just divides us all. Personally, maybe there should be a law. If a president does this time and time again, we should impeach him. He must not divide this country. I have a friend named Todd. About 2 years ago, we had a discussion. We said the president really doesn't have any power. Well, 2 years later, he said he was totally wrong. Personally, I believe any major decision should be made between the president and Congress. The president can't, at his whim, back out of the Paris Accord. If you want to create a trade war, it must be approved by Congress. This is the check of balances. Our current president does what he wants and doesn't want any practical advice from the experts.
At times, I think newborn mothers should be the dominant force in ruling us. Imagine, a newborn mother will never want her infant to go to war. She would say, war is obsolete. Let's find a better way to solve this problem. A mother has the best interest to educate the children. She doesn't want anyone to go hungry. Both sides of the parties wouldn't fight one another. Mothers know how to compromise. They had the best interest in mind. They would have term limits so nobody would get greedy in power. We have seen what happens today with term limits. A mother would have patience, tolerance, compassion, and love. These are the qualities which are needed by the rulers today. We do not need rulers who have no respect for one another. We don't need rulers who mock those who disagree with you. We don't need rulers who say, I could shoot someone in the street and they would still vote for me. We need to change. I like my solution. Last night, I watched the evening news on Christmas Day. The news for the day was man doing good deeds for one another. No shooting or murder was shown. Just simple acts of kindness. Just one human being helping out another. We need to see this more on TV. I know violence sells, yet this goes beyond the money. Let's create hope in the news. Let's change the channel of violence to a channel of good deeds. Imagine if every night we would watch good news. How much would our attitude of the world change? Random acts of kindness to our fellow man. A simple smile to someone who is sad. Helping an elderly person crossing the street. If we all perform good deeds with one another, this world would change. There would be peace on earth. Is our life on remote control? We're so driven and distracted by our devices. We can't live without our cell phones. People have died from texting. Is it really worth that message you texted while you died so young? We have completely forgotten our true nature. Okay, so Facebook is cool, but living your life moment by moment is really cool. You are the universe, yet your life is on remote control. What could be sadder? You can solve this puzzle.
When it comes to politics, hold your emotions. Don't spew anger. Be tolerant towards the other side. Be calm. Be united. Look at both sides of the issue. Don't sink to the level of your opponent. That may be difficult. You can do it. Merge your ethics and actions together. Don't speak whatever comes to your mind. Stop, look, and listen. There is an art to holding back your anger. Unfortunately, we are throwing stones at each other. In order to change America, we must be united. We must become one regardless of our points of view.
I got to tell you that you are a miracle. You are alive. We take it for granted, yet at the time of death, one sees how precious our breath is. Nobody can escape it. I know it may seem like I'm a broken record, All the great masters are talking about the same thing. They have conveyed the message in different manners all throughout the world. Life is precious. Know while you are alive. I keep on saying the spiritual path is the most practical path. Why do I keep on saying this? Imagine most of our lives we are skimming the surface on the ocean of life. The wise man dives deep into the ocean of life and becomes one with it. I love the following saying from dear old Albert Einstein. I think 99 times and find nothing. I stop thinking, swim in silence, and the truth comes to me. This is a very wise man who said this. He understood the law of silence. You can't think your way to God, yet by learning how to be silent, you can find God. In the silence lies the vast mysteries of life. I have seen many times before the following. You are the universe. You just don't know it. You can never think this over and find the answer to this riddle. The only way to understand this riddle is to swim in silence, just like good old Albert said. I find Albert to be a genius on two levels. He was a genius in the sciences, and he understood the law of silence. Combine both of these together, and you have a true human being. Man equals divine mind. Man equals mind. Big difference. Albert lived in the center of the hurricane. He lived in stillness. Man has yet to learn truly to live in silence. Yes, millions of people are already on this path, but this knowledge still hasn't been accepted into mass consciousness. When it does, the world will really start to change in a beautiful way. Kindness will take over. Patience and tolerance will take over. Love for one another will take over. When man truly understands that war is obsolete, a huge shift will take place. War is past dead energy. We will look at war, BC, and peace, AD. We will stop and ask ourselves, how did we ever fight in the first place? But first, we need to learn how to swim and dive in the ocean of life. There are millions of people on this planet saying the same thing. This is not my message. This message is brought forth from millions of people. This message comes from the yearning of mankind. We know that we are missing something. We can't figure it out. It is at our fingertips, yet we can't quite touch it. That makes us frustrated. Why can't I find the answer? Remember what dear old Albert said. I think 99 times and find nothing. I stop thinking, swim in silence, and the truth comes to me. You can solve this puzzle. The answer lies within. Did you know that you have a heart of gold?
That is your true essence. Your true nature is kindness. Your true nature is patience. Your true nature is tolerance. Your true nature is love and compassion. This is who you truly are. You may think I'm macho, yet deep down inside, you have a heart of gold. This is the true nature of a human being. God exists inside of us. You are a part of God. All the great masters have said that. The jewel of life lies within. Unfortunately, we have lost touch with our true nature. Dusk has gathered on the mirror of life. When we look into the mirror, we can't see our true nature. How would this journey of life be if we could see who we truly are? This world would be heaven on earth. I know I'm a broken record, saying the same message over and over. Yet all the great masters have come and said the same thing. I'm not a master, yet I am a student of life. I do have some insight over the years. I'm not here to brag. There's nothing to brag about. I'm simply trying to convey your true nature. I'm not trying to convert you. There's nothing to convert to. Every one of us has God existing inside. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your religion or views about God. It doesn't matter if you're an atheist. God exists in your friends and enemies. Simply, God exists in the entire universe. As I said before, you are the universe. You just don't know it. You've been down this journey of life before. You know that life has many bumps and potholes. That's the nature of life. Nobody gets a free ride. Yet the journey and self-discovery within cushions the bumps in the road. It's like God is in the passenger seat when you drive. You may not see him, but that doesn't mean he's not there. You can't see love, but you can feel it. God will not drive the car for you. It's your own journey. You have free will. You can truly do anything you want. Yes, there are consequences, yet they don't come from God. God does not judge you. Man judges. Millions of people all around the world are discovering their true nature. This is probably the greatest time to be alive. There is an revolution of love occurring in this world. Young people today are questioning war. Why are we fighting? War is obsolete. A new way of thinking and being is occurring on this planet. The media doesn't see it. Yet occasionally we see glimpses of it. At times, Facebook posts will give us glimpses of our future. It is quite grand. Imagine the world learning how to be peaceful. Imagine the world learning how to live in stillness. Imagine the world as our friends. As friends, you may disagree on things, but you will never go to war. You will just work things out. This will take a while to occur. Mark my words, peace will be on this earth. Remember, you have a heart of gold.
If death approaches you, what do? Now, good old Bugs Bunny might say, don't take life so seriously. You will never get out of it alive. It's not a question of if, but when. Re-roll the dice in our life. I remember being young and riding a razor's edge when surfing a huge wave. If you fell, you were in for your worst nightmare. Imagine being held underwater for what seems to be an eternity. At times, you may be held down for 2 ways. At that time, you really are aware of how precious your breath is. You mustn't panic. You must let go and totally relax. I think that surfing and meditation teaches one about death. All surfers at one time or another get into a circumstance bordering between life and death. It can go either way. Yet the surfer keeps on surfing. Not all. In the 60s, a famous surfer named Greg Knoll took off in a way that nobody should ever take off on. He was the wave of the century. He didn't make the wave, but he made the drop. He got him obliterated. Greg made it to shore and gave up surfing. I probably would have too. He escaped the lion's den. Surfing brings one to the borderline of life and death. If you're not a surfer, it's hard to describe. Your awareness changes over time. Meditation is just like surfing, only you catch the wave inside. Meditation brings one to the same state of being borderline between life and death. Life and death are only one breath away. Life and death are intertwined. Ask a surfer and a meditator. They will tell you they're almost one and the same. In reality, we never die. The body does. Yet our soul is eternal and timeless. You are the universe. Death unites you back to your true state. This is your true nature. A surfer rides the wave and feels the harmony of the universe. He can't truly express it, yet he goes on surfing forever. I have been meditating for many moons. Surfing and meditating are both ways to truly capture the wave of life. Your respect for life does enhance. When you are brought to a life and death situation, your perspective changes. Somehow, you see how precious life is. Maybe that's what it's all about. Gratitude of being alive fuses into your being. Wow, I'm alive. This came from my book, Dragon Tales. This is a story told all throughout India. It is a tale of finding the jewel within. The new human will discover this jewel once again. The jeweler and the thief. Well, let's continue with this incredible story. The dragons, when they first saw the youngsters entering the cave many moons ago, weren't interested in the slightest in training man. You see, man was one of their major troubles. There's even a dragon slayer profession in the British Isles. Yet, at that same time, they could see the potential in these youngsters. As a matter of fact,
They were more evolved than them when they were young. Back then, the dragons didn't even have a glimmer of light. So, they had an internal discussion amongst themselves. Do you think we can train them? Do you think they can change? You see, even in China and Tibet, war ruled the land. Anger was the norm. Mind you, these youngsters had a combination of light and darkness. They could see both sides of the coin. So the dragons decided to train them. Now their training wasn't like today. Today, children in school are bored. They are taught to use just memory. They are taught to remember facts. They are not taught to use your mind and think. The dragons are experts in this field. They are the master wizards of Hogwarts today. In fact, they are thousands of years ahead in development. Hogwarts teachers would be in nursery school. The dragons would have an advanced PhD study in the universe. They were off the charts. The dragons had a unique style of teaching. You could say it was revolutionary today. They taught by using games, play, and fireside chats. The first game they taught was hide and seek. This was a very practical game. They had a series of talks about the universe. They were taught that the universe existed inside of them. Well, to be frank, that was completely over their heads. They couldn't even understand one word. So the dragons played a game of hide and seek. The dragons would hide. The youngsters closed their eyes and counted to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Ready or not, here we come. They would open their eyes, and all the dragons were gone. The dragons had rules they couldn't teach the kids. All the kids were completely shocked when they opened their eyes. All the dragons disappeared. They all grasped in surprise. As you know, dragons are quite large. They weigh thousands of pounds. This game went on for around 6 months or so. Finally, at one fireside chat, the dragons told this practical story. Imagine 2 young men walking down the road. They were headed to a town 5 days from their current destination. One of their men was a jeweler. The other man was a thief. The thief knew this man had a very precious jewel that he was carrying. As I said, both of them were going to the same town. They decided to travel together. They had a long journey ahead of them. Hours passed. They were quite tired and exhausted. Fortunately, there was a simple inn ahead of them. They both decided to spend the night there and share a room together. Both of them decided to have dinner together. The jeweler went first, and a few minutes later, the thief joined them. While the jeweler was holding the table for them, the thief was looking all over for the precious jewel. He was quite dumbfounded. He was the greatest thief in the land. They had dinner and went to bed immediately. They weren't in the mood to drink the ale and party into the night. Well, guess what? This went on for several days. Finally, they reached their destination. By then, the thief was totally confused. He thought, this is going to be an easy steal. He said to the jeweler, I'm a thief. As a matter of fact,
I'm a king of the thieves. I knew you were carrying a precious jewel. Every night I knew you hid. Every night I knew you carried a precious jewel. I knew you hid the jewel inside of the room. Every night I would search all over for it. I got quite frustrated when I couldn't find it. Where did you put it? I'm dying for an answer. The jeweler said, I knew you were a thief. I knew you wanted to steal the jewel. Every night I would hide it in a place you would never look. The thief said, and where is that? The jeweler said, under your own pillow. The thief knew he was outwitted and outsmarted. Well, the kids loved this story. They were well acquainted with thieves and jewelers. They went through their towns quite frequently. The dragon said, let's play a game of hide and seek again. This time, focus on your breath. Close your eyes. To their amazement, the dragons appeared inside of them. They couldn't believe it. How could all the dragons appear to them inside of their being? This was the starting point of their incredible adventures. Now, when they played hide and seek, they knew where to look. A single but necessary step took place. They knew it was both an inward and outward journey. The youngsters were thrilled. Each time they played the game, the youngsters knew where to look. They loved to play this game. All the first-time students had to go through the same baby steps that others went through. You see, this path is 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards. You learn from your progress and your mistakes. Never give up. The frog in the well. You are the universe. You just don't know it. This is the central theme of the dragons. They reached a growth of awareness where they became the sun, moon, and stars, and were walking around in dragon bodies. They realized they were eternal. They were beyond time and space. The dragons also knew that humans had the same capability. They were curious about that. The dragons knew that man came from the stars. They were stardust. Yet the village around them in Tibet and China at that time had no idea of who they truly are. The dragons were once in the same state of awareness as the humans. They were angry, hateful, worried, and full of greed. Yet over time, they realized their potential. They needed a story that could reflect how large they felt, yet how small in reality they lived in. So, here goes the story. Once upon a time, a frog lived in a well. This frog thought he was a know-it-all. This frog thought the water in my well is the largest in the world. This was in fact quite a large well. The villagers used it for the community. Anyway, this frog bragged a lot and told all the people who were strangers to the well how vast the water is in the well. One day, a stranger came who lived near the ocean. The frog came up to the stranger and said, "The water in my well is far grander than any
water in the well, in the world. The stranger said, well, according to my experience, the water in your well is probably one of the smallest I've ever seen. Well, a fight ensued with the water worms. It was going out of control. Both sides were putting wood on the fire. Finally, they both calmed down. All the villagers came and wondered what was going on. It was quite the scene. Well, the villagers and frogs said to the man, can you prove it? Can you show us a place where water is larger than our well? So to make a long story short, a small group of villagers and a frog traveled to the ocean. They couldn't believe what they saw. An endless body of water everywhere. They were dumbfounded. Never in their world did they see such a precious sight. The stranger laughed and said, now, this is a large body of water. The villagers and frogs couldn't agree more. Their well wasn't even a drop of water compared to the ocean. The dragons told this story to the youngsters. They reminded the kids of playing hide and seek and peekaboo. The dragons would appear to them inside. Well, the dragon said, this is the frog in the well. This is the starting point in your incredible journey of life. Inside of you lies the infinite ocean of love. You have the potential to tap into this. In fact, you are this ocean. This is your true nature. You should see how wide open were the eyes opened from the children. They were completely mesmerized by this story. They were just some mumble-jumble words. The dragons were talking about their own personal experience. They were telling the kids that you could ultimately have the same experience. It's a moment-by-moment conscious journey. Baby steps are taken along the way. Stop the noise in your head. As the children began to learn how to meditate, they saw how powerful the mind is. They never noticed that before. They asked the dragon how to stop the noise in my head. Of course, all the dragons laughed. They laughed because everyone goes through this. You see, the mind is the most difficult thing to control in the universe. The majority of man reacts to every situation. Man is reacting. The wise man learns to be proactive. They understand the basic law. It's my will alone. I set my mind in motion. Now, that's very easy to say, but hard to do. All people who learn how to meditate in the beginning have this problem. In the East, they call it monkey mind. The monkey goes from one branch to another. It can't be controlled. Well, when they first started to learn how to meditate, they clearly saw this from first-hand experience. The dragons told a wonderful story each time the subject was brought up. They told a story where a man saves a genie. Nobody knows exactly how this man saved him. Well, the genie told this man, you can have as many wishes as you want. The man said, wow, that's incredible. I love that idea. The genie said, well, there's a cat. The man said, what's that? You must always give one wish after another. If you don't, I will chop your head off with a sword. Are you sure you want to continue with this? The man hesitates for a moment and says, reluctant to her, well, the genie said, what's your first wish? The man gives one wish after another. It seems like when one wish is granted, he has to give another. He didn't even have one opportunity to enjoy, even for a second, the previous wish. He was getting tired and couldn't even go to sleep. The genie was always harassing him and saying, what's your next wish? Well, fortunately, there was a wise man nearby. He went to the wise man and sincerely asked for help. This boon was turning into a curse. The wise man whispered into his ear, well, the genie demanded another wish, or he would chop off his head. The young man said, go to the forest and find the huge log. Your wish is my command. In a second he returned with the huge log. The genie said with a smile, give me a wish, I will chop off your head. As you can see, the genie wasn't particularly nice, so the young man told the genie to go up and down the pole. When I need you, I will give you another command. The young man could relax and enjoy all the wishes he gave to the genie. The genie knew he was outsmarted by this wise man. The young boy enjoyed his life and helped others in the community. He eventually learned about the dragon and helped tremendously his fellow man. The dragon said that the genie is the mind. The mind wants to control you versus the other way around. By placing your mind on your breath, the genie will go up and down the log and set you free. Meditation is the key to bring awareness to your mind. The mind is either your friend or foe. Everyone in the universe has to learn how to control the mind.
Close your eyes, breathe, watch your breath go up and down. Behind your breath lies your true nature. A person who's been practicing for a while will automatically enter a force field of love and kindness. This field is pure light and intelligence. You are this light. This light gets brighter and brighter. Krishna reveals to Arjuna a light more brilliant than a billion suns. This is your true nature. In the beginning, you may see a small glimpse of light. Whatever you experience, just enjoy it. Remember, the goal is not the experience. The goal is to transform your life. The goal is to be in a conscious state of kindness 24 hours a day. Did you know that this light contains sound frequencies? You have the capability to listen. Your mind will slow down when you do. The universe is softly singing you a song. As you breathe, you will experience a feeling of love, compassion, and kindness. There's an inner rainbow where you can feel all the qualities of God. Let these feelings get absorbed into your mind and body. You're learning to fuse the divine into your life. There's a nectar-like substance which is made out of pure love. Personally, I have only had that precious opportunity to drink this only a few times. It is said that just one drop will get man totally intoxication. This is medicine to the soul. Kabir, a famous poet, once said, "There's a palace in the sky A blind man sees a light more brilliant than the noonday sun. A deaf man listens to the unstruck music. A lame man climbs the ladder and drinks the waters of immortality. The poem goes on and on. The clincher is only when a wise man understands what I'm talking about. This experience exists inside of you. All you have to do is to be aware of your breath. It's easy, yet it's probably the hardest thing in the universe to master. You see, mastering your mind is mastering yourself. So many of my friends learned how to meditate. Some of them, quite frankly, gave up. One friend said, "I can't control my mind. I never knew how powerful my mind was until I started to meditate." Precisely. Before you started to learn how to meditate, the mind was totally in charge. You just didn't know it. The mind will fight you. Yeah, just don't pay attention. Our mind is your friend. It doesn't know at this point your true nature. The more you progress, the mind will settle down. Personally, I think the mind will always be a little restless. It's like a grain inside of a clam. Over time, a diamond will manifest. Personally, just enjoy this journey. Don't try to get ahead of yourself. You can't break down this door. A spiritual life is comprised of the inner and outside worlds. The goal is to unite them. Feet on the ground and head in heaven. This should be your mantra. Did you know that over time you can even meditate when you sleep or take a nap? I love taking a short nap. Imagine resting in a force field of love and kindness. Light and sound are all around. Now, this is true rest. The mind, body, and soul are at ease. In the beginning, you meditate on God. At some point, God begins to meditate on you. That's when the journey truly starts. Yet, you must be aware and conscious of your everyday actions. You see, you might be in a state of kindness, yet you may act in a negative state. How could that be? Well, you see, there is free will. You must consciously perform an action with love and kindness. You see, you are the driver driving the car. Only you can perform the actions with kindness. So you can be in a force field of love and still have angry actions coming from you. Once you understand this, you then can be totally aware of your actions. Your actions will be aligned with kindness. You see, this is an ever-growing journey. It's quite exciting. This is true alchemy. People want to learn how to transform metal into gold. How about transforming yourself into a true vessel for God? You have the potential to discover your true nature. The car is gathering dust in your garage. Meditation is the means to dust off the car. You then open up the garage door, back out the car, and then drive on the freeway of life. You will then begin to understand slowly the mysteries of life. You will begin slowly to understand your true nature. All this begins when you start to be aware of and focus on your breath. It's as simple and easy as that. Yes, on your journey, you might learn many more meditation techniques. There are thousands, yet this is the simplest. You can do this anywhere. When you are at your workplace, you can be conscious of your breath, and nobody will know except for you. You see, the goal is to break down your ego. Pride and conceit are not our true nature. They will never lead us home. When you feel superior over someone else, you're falling into a trap. This experience is meant to unite not divide. The goal is to see God in everyone. The goal is to see you are in everyone. With this kindness will prevail in your life. This is your true nature. Close your eyes. Enjoy the sweetness of breath. Many say you only have a certain amount of breaths given to you when you are born. When you take the last one of these breaths, like it or not, you die. I'm not sure if this is true or not, yet I do know that each breath is keeping us alive. God is keeping us alive through our breath. This is truly the breath of life. We live our life, and most of the time we are never truly conscious of it. All of us at some point in time may experience it, yet it is fleeting. It will come and go. We are a mixture of light and darkness. We can learn how to transform darkness into light. The word guru means to lead one from darkness into light. This is built in. You are the guru. You can be a rugu. This is going from light into darkness. The world at large is pretty good at that. Look at all the wars that have been fighting in the past 2,000 years. We are responsible for our own transformation. Nobody can do it for you. Nobody can walk the same steps for you. This is your true journey. Ponder these words over. Close your eyes and breathe. This is your personal journey. This week on the CBS Evening News, I saw this touching news event. 2 high school baseball teams were fighting to see which team would go to the state finals. On opposing teams were 2 players who were best friends since they were young. It was the bottom of the ninth, and there were 2 outs. If the pitcher didn't allow the hitter to go on base, the game would be over. The next batter goes to the plate, and it's his best friend. In the end, he strikes him out. The game is over, and the fans go wild. Well, the pitcher runs to home plate and hugs his friend. His friend got struck out. It was probably hurting a lot. The hug made all the difference in the world for him. That's kindness in action. That act of kindness caught the attention of the world. That's called true competition. Win or lose, we play our best. Sports are a way to increase our level of how to treat our fellow man. You don't downgrade your opponent. In the last 10 years, you see a person scoring a touchdown and taunting the opponents with the ball. There is no kindness or compassion, just pure ego, no state of awareness. I may be wrong, but Lou Gehrig played baseball with dignity and honor. He brought respect to the game. He was a great role model on and off the field. You see, how you play the game is how you play the game in life. If you cheat and steal in life, you will cheat and steal on the playing field. I remember as a kid, I loved to play basketball. It didn't matter if we won or lost. I just loved playing the game. It was fun. It made me happy. I didn't play the game. If we lost, I would be in a state of anger. We didn't cheat. We just played the game with dignity. We were innocent, just played to pass the time. Today, some sport events are like war. For example, some soccer events cause riots to occur in the stands. If we sit in a wrong section, your life may be in danger. People are offended if you root for the opposing team. Quite frankly, what a joke. This has been going on for thousands of years. We bring that energy to our sporting event. Temporarily, we are at war with the other side. This is the mentality we have. Anger for the other side. Yes, this is a game. A championship may be on the line here. Yet, you can play with a different set of emotional rules. You can respect and honor each team. If you win, you won't taunt the other side. For the team that lost, you won't be sore losers. You see, you can practice being a better human on the playing field. My dear friend Tim Galloway has been on the cutting edge for around 40 years. He wrote The Inner Game of Tennis over 40 years ago. Many famous coaches who have won world titles give tribute to Tim. You see, a lot of playing the game is to overcome the hindrance of the mind. The inner game is played, and what you think gets brought into action. Have you witnessed a tennis game where the player is completely winning against his opponent, yet somewhere along the way, a competitor makes a comeback and wins the game? It is often said that inner game will dictate who wins the game. If you get super cocky and are beating your opponent, what happens when your opponent starts to fight and win back? Your mental state will change. There is a certain point where you're no longer cocky and you're holding on to dear life. You see, the mind, emotions, and body are integrated into playing the game. These are also represented by playing the game of life. In my eyes, kindness will lead to better and more compassionate athletes. You will also be kind to your body. A kind person won't take steroids or sports enhancement drugs. Did you know that major sporting events can be won by the team who gets the best sleep the night before? Recently, a major study was done on this. Many people think that sleep is overrated. Well, if you get a good night's sleep, the next day you will be aware and not drowsy. Just think that if your engine is just off a little, you won't be able at that level to win. Just a little off can cause errors. A good night's sleep is giving kindness to your mind and body. If you party the night before, the next day you will experience a hangover. Your mind is foggy and your body is tired. Not a good way to win a world championship. Once again, kindness is a need in all levels. Yet many people don't see this. They think that being kind is weak. Nothing can be further from the truth. Kindness is the foundation of life. Through kindness, you will learn how to train properly. You will know when to exert effort and when to rest. You won't burn out. The East Germans and Russians learned this during the late 80s and early 90s. They completely dominated in swimming. Yes, some of them probably used drugs, but they trained completely different from the Americans. At that time, the American theory was you trained as hard as you can. The more physical effort you made, the better you got. People got burned out. The body at a certain point in time would rebel. The mind would get agitated. Once the mind gets agitated, your body will break down and injuries will occur. The East Germans and Russians trained in an entirely different fashion. They trained for stroke efficiency. They compared the difference between a tugboat and a yacht. It takes the tremendous amount of energy to move a tugboat, yet a yacht is streamlined and moves through water more efficiently. They slowly learned at time how to be more efficient swimming through water. As a matter of fact, Alexander Popov won the 50-meter and 100 meters event that year. He won by taking fewer strokes than his competitor. I learned this technique, and my strokes over time went from 28 to 18 over a period of a year. You see, by swimming for stroke efficiency, you're training your mind and body to be more efficient. Kindness is the integration that will help improve whatever endeavor you do. It will change how you work out and perform. You will probably laugh and think I'm full of it when I say this. I think many of our movies today are in the dark ages. For example, watching a horror movie. I know many people today love watching horror movies. They love the adrenaline, the rush of being scared to death. Yet, why do we do this? There's already so much horror already in the world today. For thousands of years, man has been in horror and violence. Why does our movie industry continue to deliver one horror movie after another? Did you know that the mind doesn't know the difference between watching a horror movie and experiencing horror in your life? You are hardwiring your circuits for violence. This may slowly transform you into someone who loves violence in some shape or form. You see, watching a violent movie may make you a violent person. I'm not saying you will, yet the possibility is greater in someone who loves to watch kind movies. If we as a world want to change and be a better place, we must look at all avenues in life. We must see that kindness is our true nature. We are on the journey from going from darkness to light. Each one of us has a tremendous story to tell. Each story is totally different and unique. The movie industry could have eons with a storyteller. Currently, there are over 6 billion human beings on this planet. That's a lot of storylines. Why can't the movie industry make films that promote the transformation of man? So many of our movies are promoting darkness. They aren't transforming us. As a matter of fact, they are hindering our growth. Yes, there are so many movies out there that are absolutely incredible. They're helping mankind to transform. We need more of these. We need the movie industry to morph into something greater. As we learn how to be kind, we can take the industry to levels that we never could ever imagine. You see, kindness is the foundation of the universe. Kindness is our true creativity. A true creative person taps into the creative force. That's why we love music, the arts, and poetry. We love seeing the master chefs creating alchemy with only a few ingredients. People love to watch movies when they have free time. How would it be if these movies helped man in our transformation? Think about the infinite amount of incredible plots. The golden age of man is coming. Yes, it will take time. You could still see movies about war. Then this could be to show what was the lessons learned. How can we prevent this from happening in the future? What events led us to go to war? I bet you that neither side compromised or was stuck in their ways. I bet the kindness and compassion never entered their minds. You see, a person who is kind will have kind actions. Our current political environment is anything but kind. In fact, it is mean and totally polarized. It's us versus them. We absolutely hate the other side. This is our current situation. Need I say more? Personally, I think common sense is uncommon. We think we are creating a better world when we flame our opponent. We're only putting gasoline on the fire. We are not putting out the fire. We're just adding to it. It doesn't matter if you are right or wrong. There is a way to speak your mind with kindness. You can learn not to degrade the other person and make them defensive. Words don't have to be swords. You don't have to fight your opponent with words of daggers. You don't have to trash your opponent. Imagine you have the same capability to speak like the Christ, the Buddha. This is your true state, yet we don't know it. Our goal is to transform. Our goal is for our actions to be totally aligned with kindness. In this state, you are aligned with the universe. Presently, in most conflicts, there is great antagonism. Nobody is listening. They are throwing daggers at one another. Did you know that a truly kind person can see the unity of all life? She will see that there's no difference between the two factions. They are united. This would change the course of events. The shields can be dropped, and true healing and communication can happen. This is desperately needed in all areas of life. We need to drop our shields of anger and war. This will never truly solve our problems. Personally, I think humanity would change in so many different ways. Our world would be totally transformed. In science, we are leapfrogging in ways that we never could imagine. Can you imagine a world where we all are conscious that we are one? This world would totally change. This means evolution. Look, we have two different journeys we can go on. One, blow ourselves up. Two, realize our true nature and transform into our true nature. We are not going to blow ourselves up. Many people are dying for this to happen, so a Savior can come. Maybe, just maybe, the Savior lies inside of you. You are the one who saves by walking along the journey in life. When you begin to align yourself with the universe, you are saving yourself. It doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. Your actions will be aligned with God. You will not quote some scripture to reinforce why we separate children for their parents in our immigration battle today. Christ would never go for this. We, as a world, can change for the better. Ponder over these words. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. The name is the mother of 10,000 things. Ever desireless, one can see the mystery. Ever desiring, one can see the manifestations. These two spring from the same source but differ in name. This appears as darkness, darkness within darkness, the gate to all mystery. David the Dragon. Hi, I'm David the Dragon. I'm best of friends with little Ricky. You read about me in the story. I'm over 5,000 years old. I'm still young at heart. You see, I take care of myself. Where I come from, the British Isles, the dragons really didn't have any common sense. You could say common sense is uncommon. Where I come from, the dragons didn't exercise or eat good food. They partied all throughout the night. To be frank, they didn't have a clue about universal laws. They were only interested in acquiring stolen treasure and fighting. Boy, what kind of existence is that? When we flew from the west to the east, our entire lifestyle changed for the better. We started to take a look at how to make a better life for the dragons. As you see, only young dragons came with us. The rest were stuck in their old ways. Quite frankly, they had no desire to change. They liked misery. Well, we decided to have a grand adventure. We learned how to meditate from Zoran, and the rest is history. We learned very young that life is an external and internal adventure. Bet you nobody told you that. We came to a point where we could see energy all around us and in us, that there was a block over time. Disease would take place. You see, in the bodies of humans and dragons lie a vast number of rivers and streams. In a healthy body, these rivers and streams are flowing properly. But the more ones have a life out of balance, these rivers and streams get clogged up and don't flow properly. The water over time becomes stagnant and mosquitoes can fester. This is where disease manifests. Here's an example of anger. When a person is always angry, this blocks the rivers and streams inside the body. Over time, the body becomes angry and can fight against itself. You call this cancer. Cancer is anger cells. We discovered a long time ago that by using needles at a certain point on the body, we can begin to unblock the rivers and streams. Yet the acupuncturists can help to unblock these dams. Yet it's up to you to change, modify, and learn how to be healthy. In the West, you go to a doctor and take the medicine. Your symptoms go away. Your drugs have side effects. The patient takes no responsibility. No wonder your system is messed up. A wise person begins to listen within and change accordingly. This person realizes that proper rest is the key. In the West, sleep and rest is sort of a nuisance. They don't have the understanding of how important it is. In order for the body to heal and repair, it needs rest. Period. We live such a fast pace, we have forgotten why we need sleep and rest in the first place. The acupuncture during this time had that easy job. He knew how to break the dam and let the waters flow properly. He might give some healing herbs to the child. The child understood completely that the acupuncturist could only assist so far in the process. She knew that it was up to her to follow through and live day by day the natural laws of life. You see, their culture was understanding and practicing every moment these natural laws. Unfortunately, in our world, today's man has lost touch with his true nature. Consequently, disease is quite common. Our herbs that are given out are organic and have no side effects. They're extremely beneficial in helping the body to balance. Your Western medicine has extreme side effects and can cause death. Listen to the commercials today, and you will hear a lovely voice telling all the side effects that drugs have. They are concerned to make a profit. That is the bottom line. No, kids, listen to this story. Only your generation can change this wacky system. You can look at different and natural ways. You can see chemicals are the least effective ways for healing. Their scientists know about energy, but at the present moment, only a few doctors are researching about the power of energy. This is where acupuncture comes in. In the future, there will be myriads of different discoveries and inventions. The more society becomes more aware, the more the discoveries can occur. You see, only in an open society can change occur for the better. These new discoveries can be used for good, or they can be a complete disaster. The nuclear bomb is a prime example. The genie got loose, and now the world is trying to find out how to rein in the genie. You see, your world has a lot to learn. Imagine most of the world is looking externally, but the jewel lies within. You need a balance between the external and internal. Millions of people are waking up to this fact. At a certain point in time, when humanity truly understands this, your inventions will be so-called a miracle in life. In fact, they aren't miracles in life, but your understanding is at a different level. Your cell phone would be considered a gift from God 500 years ago. I bet each one of you kids knows how to operate one. You have no problems with that. In the same way, the more you understand the laws of the universe, more incredible inventions will come your way. Nature wants to give her incredible gifts, but you have to be in sync to receive them. Anger, war, and greed will never be the way to discover these gifts. For thousands of years, war is not the answer. It has never solved anything and never will. Only the kids can truly change for the better. Hopefully, you will listen to this story and remember your generation can change for the better. The seeds have been planted many millions of years ago. You can be the fruit that can change this world. Remember, you are never alone. Someday you will realize this. You will see that all of humanity and the dragons are in the same boat together. You are the universe. You just don't know it.